It's always about the guy that got the walk-off base hit, but how big was it for Kike to set up both runners in scoring position for you?
Yeah, that was huge, a couple of tough pitches, and just did a great job of getting the job done. Something you don't see much nowadays, but it's kind of the kind of thing where whenever you need to do it, it's always in a huge spot, so he was the perfect guy up to get the job done.
What was it like not starting today, and just how did you process all that to be ready when Dave called upon you?
Yeah, it was a little different. Kind of the beginning part of the day, I did some more recovery stuff and not as much baseball. And then once the game started, that's when I kind of started to, take some more swings and get ready for, whatever situation might arise. So I knew I just had to stay locked in because, anything can happen. And there's obviously a situation came up that I had to go into the game, and I was locked in and ready to go.
What were you looking for there on that last at bat to jump on the first pitch?
Yeah, just infield in. You got to get them up and get something to the outfield. So that's pretty much it.
Tell me how much of a grind do you think the win's been for you guys this year, and the team's like giving them the best shot against you guys?
Yeah, I feel like we played against a lot of scrappy teams. We got up 5-0, and then they scrapped together that 5-run inning. You got to fight for every win. It's not easy winning games in the major leagues, and every team you play has a lot of talent, and you just got to stay focused throughout the game, regardless of what the score is. But we've done a good job of, even though we've made some games close, and done a good job of pulling out a lot of wins.
And then tell me, Dave said you've been maybe grinding just a little bit. How much does a swing like that, a moment like that, kind of lock you back in?
Yeah, it feels good to get that walk off in front of the home crowds. Just being able to put a good swing on that one, get the ball off the ground a little bit. Definitely helps out with confidence, and hopefully can continue tomorrow.
Thank you, Tommy.
There you go. Okay.
How'd you feel out there as far as getting those quick outs early on and up into the sixth inning?
It was okay. It wasn't great overall.
Did you feel like Ramirez was going to be were you aware of the fact that Ramirez may have been your last hitter in that sixth inning?
Possibly, but I wasn't sure.
How bad did you guys need this win after giving up the lead the way you guys did?
Yeah, it's huge. Not giving up five, or giving up 5 in an inning is never a good thing, and then being able to come back is good.
What's the most frustrating part about your outing tonight? You don't seem that thrilled about the way things went.
Finish sucked, so it was just not good for me.
After the rough one in Chicago, what was the focus getting ready for this? Were there adjustments or anything?
Not really. It was just kind of going to execute more throws than I really did. So just got away with a lot of stuff.
That's the toughest part for you, is not finishing after the first 5 innings were going for you so well?
They didn't really go that well. I still wasn't really executing very well at all. I just got away with some stuff. They hit some stuff at guys. They hit balls very hard. They left a lot of stuff on the top.
Thank you. Dave, considering you guys were up 5-0, to be able to come back even in extra innings, how big was that?
It was huge. I think that, obviously to build a lead, and I thought offensively, team offense-wise, we were really good. Still had some opportunities to, score some more runs early on, which we didn't cash in. But I think overall the effort was really good. And to score late, Tommy with the big hit was huge. Andy with the big at bat, and the starter. I thought Dustin didn't have his best stuff, but made pitches, got double plays when he needed to, and it's unfortunate that his 2 runs that he left on got cashed in. But I think that where he's at right now, he's in a good spot. And as we continue to move throughout the summer, I'm going to continue to push him more. But I think for me it's very important, given his health history and kind of what he's coming back from, to kind of manage it over the long season. But he's doing a heck of a job for us.
How do you balance, obviously you guys won tonight, but his unsatisfaction with the way he pitched and the way things went early or in the 6th inning?
Yeah, I think that I don't think the really good pitchers are never going to be satisfied and never want to come out of the game, and that's a good thing. And so he's continuing to, want to get better and go deeper in games. And I'm going to give him that opportunity. I just felt right there to get those guys to the other side of the plate. I felt, Ben hadn't pitched in 4 days, and we need him to be better. And so unfortunately tonight, he just wasn't on tonight.
How stressful have you think the Wings felt this year?
They have. It's just, I was talking to the coaches earlier tonight, it just seems like we're a 500 team, just kind of given with what's going on, but I think we're a game behind the best record in the National League, and so it doesn't feel like that, but I think that's a good thing as far as there's no complacency with our ball club. All the stuff that we've gone through with kind of inconsistencies with the offense, with some hiccups sometimes with the defense, with the injuries, and still to be where we're at. And so I think that's a bad sign for the rest of the league.
You know, kind of talks about like how important is this stretch of like 9 national games against Pittsburgh and Miami to let's really build momentum, especially considering how most of this month's going to come for you guys?
It's important. Still hard to win a major league game, and this stretch right now, obviously with the relievers, you're trying to kind of manage those guys, and you got to get some length, and you're still trying to win a game. But against teams that aren't 500, you got to try to win more than your fair share. And today, it would have hurt to give this one up.
How tough is it to kind of regroup when you blow the early lead and you miss chances in the later innings to go back ahead, and then you fall behind to put together the kind of inning you guys did in the bottom of the 10th? It's
sign of experience, and Andy's at that right there. You're down a run. You got to try to get on base and not try to expand, take the walk, and then Kike comes in there and gets down a nice sacrifice bunt to set the stage for Tommy. So it's just good to see that. And even earlier in the game, Mookie gets a guy over, gets Shohei over, and Freddie gets a base hit with a drawn-in infield. So we're doing things like fundamentally really well now offensively, and that's a good thing. And Teo obviously is still a fire and with another homer, so some good things happening.
And Dave, 3 hits for Miguel Rojas tonight. Just what do you think about his night, and just what do you think he's taken on the challenge of being able to just expected to produce even with the days off kind of in between his playing time?
Miggy's been great. He's a glue guy for our club. It's a hard role when you're not in there and you're playing once, twice a week. The 2-strike block base hit, then he gets a bunt base, or then he gets a double to drive in a run, then he gets a bunt base hit. Obviously the solid defense, and even to give away to Tommy late against Tinoco, just understanding I like the matchup, and he's just great, and it was good for all of us to see Miggy throw out a few knocks tonight.
When you have someone as versatile as Tommy, do you ever really expect to give them, like a full day off?
No, not necessarily. I think ideally I would have liked to have given him a full day off, but I just felt that at that moment in time, inserting him in the 8th inning was the best chance to win the game. And but I do think that him not having to start was a good mental blow for him. He's played a lot, but whatever it takes to win a game, and he was all in on that.
Was it tough to face a manager that he knows almost everything about this team?
It's different looking on the other side and seeing Clayton over there, kind of running that ship. Very proud, but he certainly knows my tendencies and certain guys I'm going to hit for and things like that. So, and I'm still learning his, but it's still good to see him over there.
Were you surprised? They've done this all year, but for them to bring the infield in with less than 2 outs, how much did that benefit you guys?
Yeah, I was surprised by that. Nobody out to bring the infield in, but I'm sure there's some math behind that. But that's kind of their strategy right there.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
So how's Tyler doing?
He is in the process of being looked at by our doctors, overall body soreness, as I understand it. And we're bringing Noah Davis to taxi. We haven't made a decision on the IL. But yeah, the doc's gonna look at it and we'll kind of see where we go from there.
This body soreness, something that he came with you guys with after coming out of the game, or was that something today that's kind of new in addition to the shoulder?
This is new in addition to the shoulder.
And some of the stuff the doctors are doing, is that just testing, or is that just sort of?
I think it's more testing as far as kind of the eye test and some physical, some manual things.
Did you go in for imaging or anything?
No, he did not.
How likely do you think it is he ends up on IL right now?
I would say it's more likely than not.
What does this do to your rotation going forward?
Obviously, tomorrow we have a bullpen game. We're going to drop Tony in on Wednesday. And right there, I think that, Tony's going to be in there. We'll just kind of figure out where we go. Honestly, right now, I just really don't know how it's going to play out in the next, call it, week to 10 days.
Yeah, 10 games without a break. Are we going to be seeing bullpen games on the regular?
I wouldn't say on the regular, but I think that there is, in one kind of conversation to potentially build up Kasperius. So that's an option as well, but we're just not sure yet.
Is there maybe a move to like a more formal six-man rotation, like six, the same six guys, like with fewer team off days in there?
I don't know. I don't think we have six. So I would say probably against the six-man rotation.
Are Roki and Yama in a place where they could go on 5 days rest as opposed to the 6 they've been on so far?
Yeah, that's a conversation as well. I think both guys we did it with, I think, Yamamoto last year, right around this time. And then it's another thought as far as given the amount of games we have in a row to, have them have less rest in between starts.
With Blake and Tyler both going through stuff, like obviously people are going to think back to the last couple of years and the pitching injuries you guys have had. How do you feel about the state of the overall staff right now, and how concerning or just difficult it is to work around with those two guys kind of going through stuff right now?
It's pitching is certainly volatile. We experienced it last year. I mean, essentially every year. I think the thing that's probably most disconcerting is the bullpen, leading Major League Baseball in bullpen innings. And I think that that's something, when you're talking about the long season, the starters are built up to be able to take those innings down. So that's where sort of my head is at as far as trying to make sure we don't redline these guys in the pen.
It sounds like you guys feel like Tyler's shoulder is structurally sound.
Yes, we do. We do. There's the mechanics piece of it. There's the uncomfortable, not feeling right. So I think we're all just trying to, as Tyler said, very frustrating and just trying to get to the bottom of it.
And for Tommy Evans, just a day off today?
Yeah, just a day off. I think that this is probably his first day off, game off. So I just feel that he's sort of grinding right now, and getting Mickey Rowe against his old ball club a start is a good thing.
And Dave, kind of the early numbers on Mookie's play at shortstop have been very positive. Just what's been kind of the biggest difference between this year and last year at that position? And would you say we're kind of past it being an experiment and more of that he's just like a everyday big league shortstop at this point?
Yeah, I think so. I think last year it was certainly experimental. I think there's a lot of indecisiveness with reading hops and making throws, different arm angles, where now he just seems everything's more fluid, and certainly the confidence is exuded every single time he's out there. So yeah, I just see him as a major league shortstop.
And some of his numbers, like the hard hit rates, barrel rates have been down a little bit. Do you think that has any potential to kind of impact him at the plate through just the rigors of playing that position for an entire year?
That's something that I don't think anyone knows. It is more of a demanding position. Mookie's got his weight back up. He feels strong. I think some of it is, where you're making contact on the barrel versus off the end of the bat, the pitch selection, talking about kind of exit velocity, stuff like that. So I don't think anyone can really speak to the fact that because he's playing shortstop, exit velo's down or not.
Are Blake Snell and Blake Trinan doing anything new at this stage in their career?
They're not. They're laying low, not playing catch, and until they hear otherwise.
Dave Clay McCullough hitting his World Series ring before the game today. Can you describe for the Miami media just what he meant to this team and what your relationship was like?
Yeah, Clayton is a very, very special person, a very special coach, and the Marlins got a really good one. We miss him a ton, and he helped us win a championship. I think for me, it's just a guy that, loves people, loves players, loves the game, always wants to learn, and really see people thrive. And I think that that's really a good trait for a manager. Always, and also still willing to have a hard conversation to challenge people. He brings energy every day, and certainly the Marlins are playing good baseball. As I was talking to Clayton today, he said that I think there was 18 players this year that made their opening day debut for the roster for the Marlins, and it's a little different than our club, but there's a lot of talent there, and they're playing good baseball. So I miss him dearly, but I'm happy to see that he can sort of make his own way now.
How impactful was Clayton for this team during the time he was here, whether it was middle of the infield or base running, whatever it was?
He was a game changer. When he was here, certainly he was a farm director in the minor league, so he has that under his belt. And then as far as a major league coach, he was in charge of the outfield and the base running. And so we did a really good job with the outfield preventing runs, and then being aggressive smartly on the bases, and really a great worker. And so now, certainly in this role, he's not doing that anymore. His scope has gotten a lot more broad, but he's handling it well.
Did he ask you for any advice about being a manager at all?
We talked this past off season, after he got the job, and I know some of the people that he's with. Not one thing in particular. I think Clayton is very observant, and I think for me he's just got to be himself. He can't be me or any other person, managing his players, his organization, because no one knows them or should know any better. I do think that having direct conversations is important, and kind of checking your ego, which isn't a problem for him because there's always a lot of scrutiny and kind of criticism, but he's doing great.
With Trinan, is that kind of the prescription, just rest for an undefined period?
That's it, yeah. I think with Blake, just what we were going through, just appreciating the fact that we're going to need him for the second half and beyond. And so, if we have time and take the time to, when we get back, when he gets back, that we can just go from there and not look back. So I think that Blake Snell is in that similar kind of bucket.
Did Snell want to get an injection initially?
He did. I'm not sure when, but he did get an injection. Yes.
Is Trinan in Arizona and go home?
I haven't seen Blake in a while, so I think he's here. I think he's here, but I'm not sure. He kind of this place is vast with this renovation, so some of these guys I got to search for him. So he's like in a bunker somewhere, I think.
What markers are you guys gonna need to see from those guys before they can start growing in and building back up?
Certainly pain-free. I think pain-free is one thing, and just building up arm strength, and then they've actually both been through this, so there's a point of reference for both those guys.
And then one more on Tyler. If he goes on the IL, is it just kind of waiting until he feels better? Is it going to give him time to kind of like work on his mechanics to find something that he's comfortable with? Like, what would kind of be the plan with him to get him back?
Obviously, if you're going to go on the IL, if it does happen, it's about the health. And for me, if we're going to do this, then let's make sure that we have everything taken care of as far as the mechanics, the physical part of it. So when we do get them back, then we can just move forward without looking back. So this is going to be a tricky one as far as timeline.
He talked about, he thought maybe some of the soreness, discomfort came from the mechanical changes. Changes can be uncomfortable. How do you kind of walk the line between, just discomfort that you work through and actual injury prevention?
I think that's a very fair question, but I think that's an individual question. my position is when you have somebody that is complaining about things, certainly a pitcher, you're very cautious to prevent against any type of injury. So the things that I hear, the things that I see, sort of dictates my decisions. In spring training, he felt good with the new delivery. So until he didn't, so I just really can't speak to that.
Dave, Japanese Heritage Night, your thoughts on the celebration tonight?
That's great, yeah. My mom will be happy. I'm sure we're going to be very well represented tonight. There's a great Japanese culture here in Los Angeles, and hopefully Shohei hits a homer and makes all the Japanese fans excited. But no, I think it's great just around baseball, just representing all the different cultures. I think it's fantastic.
Dave, what was your reaction to Andy Bacchus being named Co Player of the Week?
Is that right? Good for him.
All right, so that was your reaction.
Yeah, that's my reaction. There you go. Andy's doing great. I'm happy for him. He's worked hard as a young player to scuffle and struggle and still sort of keep some confidence and keep going. And to be rewarded like that was great. So I'm sure it's going to be one of many more to come. Thanks, guys.